Hello everyone, back to you in today's first video. We're doing the third and final Season 1 roundup for the autumn of 2020 for today's first video. So yes, this is it. Just one update, just this one to go. And then tomorrow we're releasing GavsWeatherVids autumn forecast. So exciting times in terms of the autumn. We're going to go through around 13 or 14 long-range models from the world's leading forecast centers to see what they're all showing, for this autumn, and then that's ahead, of course, of the autumn forecast to be released tomorrow. So it's going to be an interesting watch. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, and I'll get on with it for you very shortly. Just say that coming up later on today, we're going to have a regular week's 10-day video update, as always, on a Saturday. Got your weekend look ahead, and I'll have a 10 to 14-day video update as well. This can be quite a long video, as well as with all of the longer range stuff, so if you can't watch it all on go, then don't worry, it will be kept on the autumn updates page with a written summary going over everything that we discuss in the video, and I shall get on with it for you right now. So here we go. I'm going to start off with the JMA. So this, of course, is the 3-monthly seasonal anomaly for the autumn of 2020 from the Japanese Meteorological Agency seasonal model. This is broken down to month by month, so we can't look at it month by month for this update because we've got too many other models to go through. If you want to know what this is shown on a month-by-month basis, then have a look at the video that I did on Thursday. I did it on Thursday. Have a look at that, and it will explain what the anomalies are doing month by month. Generally, for the seasonal rule for autumn 2020, we have this ridge of above average heights in the middle of the North Atlantic, and then we've got a trough of lower heights coming through here. Probably a bit of a dip in the jet stream as well. So it could be a little bit on the unsettled side through this autumn. Also a little on the cool side. Temperature anomalies are average to perhaps hinting at being ever so slightly below average, really, especially for more western areas. It does look a little bit unsettled too. The precipitation anomaly for the autumn of 2020 is generally slightly above average for Ireland and the UK. The mean wind direction for this autumn is kind of northwesterly. See that from a black arrows here, always a little bit difficult to make out, but it's kind of coming in from the northwest, which could imply, excuse me, it could imply a rather showery and quite cool autumn is coming up. It could imply that. But it's not an overly unsettled scenario because the Atlantic is blocked off to some degree, or to quite a high degree, really. So it's not a classic sort of zonal pattern that we've got here. There's a bit of a dip in the jet stream. It's spring, probably quite cool and showery weather with it as well. This is how the how Kansas model is looking. So we go from Japan to Canada. This is mean sea pressure anomaly for autumn 2020 from Kansas via tropicaltidbits.com. So low pressure sitting to our north, some higher pressure out in the middle of the Atlantic. Again, this could align the jet stream sort of northwest to southeast. So it could be a bit unsettled. It could be quite unsettled. And it may be a little bit on the cooler side as well to some degree. Temperature anomaly is no better than average with Kansas. That's actually quite cool for Kansas because this is a model that tends to favour warmer than average conditions a lot of the time. Out in the Atlantic, it is a little bit cooler than average actually. So that's slightly cooler from Kansas than what we normally see. It does look a little bit on the wet side as well, actually, above average rainfall to particularly the north of the country. So a rather cool and wet autumn being signalled by Kansas, with again similar to the JMA, northwest southeast alignment probably to the jet stream. This is the temperature probability forecast of the autumn 2020 from IRI, which of course is International Research Institute for Climate and Society, part of the Earth Institute and Columbia University. So the probability is neither favouring warmer or colder than average, really. It looks like the probabilities are favouring very much a balanced outcome around normal, or maybe no probability either way. Precipitation anomalies, if you can have a look at that. Here we go, precipitation anomalies. So, we need to close in on that. So that's gone wrong, hasn't it? So, sorry about this, everyone. Refreshing of the browser. So why isn't that working? Let's see what we're going to do. So what do we do here? So let's see if we can just flip this over. Let's flip it over to precipitation. There we go. That's work. That's the easy way to do it, isn't it? So again, very balanced probabilities. Really very, very balanced probability for both temperature and precipitation. Very, very weak signal for the IRI probabilities. You will notice, but Scandinavia doesn't look a bit drier on average, though. So that could be indicative of a bit of a Scandinavian high, perhaps hinted at. But also, it's a bit drier around Spain and Portugal, so that could indicate a bit of an Azores high as well. Very, very, very much a case of no particular probability. Very, very weak signals for both temperature and precipitation anomalies from IRI. This is what the GM is forecast. This is temperature anomaly forecast from the GM. So again, we see this one is coming out no better than average. Certainly isn't favouring a particularly warm autumn. It's cooler than average up to our north and northwest as well. GM precipitation anomalies are looking like that. So drier than average out to our west. And sort of average to possibly slightly above average over and to the east of the country. And we've got Patal Peng's analogues. Of course, Patal's doing things a little bit differently. What we've just been looking at is like modelling. This is a model in a way, but it's like an analogues forecast. So Patal Peng looks at sea surface temperature anomalies in any given month. In this case, from last month, in July, looks at those sea surface temperature anomalies and compares back to past years with previous sea surface temperature anomalies, and then creates an analogues based forecast going forwards. This is a 200 millibar height anomaly from Patal Peng for the autumn of 2020, showing an area of above average heights to our west and northwest, and also extending into the UK to some degree. It's quite a complicated pattern that we've got there, but the main ridge seems to be there just south of Greenland in the middle of the Atlantic, which again could imply that jet stream is perhaps lining up a little bit northwest south. There's got to be some low pressure. Now, there's no particular low pressure that's in evidence there, but there has got to be some lower pressure. With the ridge just there, another ridge over there, you'll think there's probably going to be some sort of dip in the jet stream, maybe coming through there. Let's have a look at the temperature anomaly. So I think we need to go to that one. There we go. So go for above average temperatures for this autumn. The autumn of 2020 is a warmer than average autumn with Patal Peng's analogues. Precipitation wise, actually a bit drier than average. So it is anticyclonic signal. It doesn't really show a dip in the jet stream there. So yeah, quite an anticyclonic, quite a dry and warmish sort of autumn being indicated. In complete contrast to CFSB2. So again, this is the 700 millibar height anomaly from CFSB2, showing below average heights to our north, above average heights again pulled out to west. Very similar to the JMA this in some way, maybe CanSIPS too, with the jet stream again probably lining up northwest to southeast, a bit of a northwest southeast alignment of the jet stream there. CFSV2 temperature anomaly is looking like that. So again, no better than average through most of Western Europe. The warmth is over in the east of Europe, particularly into the far east of Europe and the west of Russia. The precipitation anomaly does look a little bit above average, really, for large parts of northern Europe. So we've got like the north of the British Isles and Ireland looking a bit wetter. Average Scandinavia looks wetter than average as well. So yeah, I think this could be lining up the jet stream like on a northwest southeast line, doing something a little bit like that with the jet. Could bring the most unsettled conditions in from the North Atlantic, and so could be rather cool and could be rather unsettled during this autumn. Right, so that's one. So we want to go to that. Right, next up, got the Ecmwf. This is mean cell pressure anomaly from the Ecmwf for the autumn 2020. Again, quite similar to a lot of the output that we've been looking at so far. Below average heights to the northeast of the British Isles, above average heights to the west. Winds sort of lining up northwest to southeast. Or jet stream probably lining up northwest southeast. So that could be a little bit on the cooler and unsettled side. And again, with the northwest southeast light jet stream, as it could be a bit on the cool side. Temperature anomalies, again, they are no better average. Most of Europe looks quite warm, but for the UK, for IMA, temperature anomalies no better than average out in the Atlantic. It is cooler than average. Precipitation anomalies, very, very weak signals, but possibly just hint at being a bit wetter average, especially so for northern parts of Europe. Again, that's due to a trough of low pressure in over Scandinavia, which could bring some early snowfalls, by the way, through this autumn, and the northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream. Meteo France looks like this in the autumn of 2020. So a ridge of above average heights, an area of above average heights, or as we're talking about mean sea level pressure, high pressure, really, sitting just west south of the country. There's some lower pressure up to north, not particularly deep low pressure. There's a little bit of low pressure up to the north, and the jet stream is like coming in from a westerly direction. There's slightly less of a northwest southeast tilt to the jet stream with this one, I think. The temperature anomaly for the autumn of 2020 is cooler than average to the northwest of the country. So below average temperature anomalies to our north and west. Our temperature anomaly for the UK and Ireland, again, is very, very balanced. No signal or average. I would probably think no signal is most likely, but could be a bit on the cool side. It could be a little bit on the cool side there. More refreshing. That's annoying, isn't it? So what do we have to do now? So yes, it's all up already. So here we go then. So the precipitation anomaly for autumn 2020 from Meteo France, again, no better than average, really. We're going to have lots of refreshing, so I'm going to have to pause this and go through the rest of the tabs. So I'll see you in around 2 seconds. Okay, with that, tabs are refreshed, so that's fine. Right, so Meteo France precipitation anomaly no better than average. Moving on to the DWD. This is mean sea level pressure anomaly from a DWD. Again, we see high pressure out to the west country, lower pressure to our north. Winds are set up westerly, not so much of a northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream with that one. Temperature anomaly with DWD is near normal to slightly above average for UK and much of Northern Europe. The precipitation anomaly is sort of a bit wet average to our north, dry average to our south. It all looks very, very westerly. There's low pressure there, there's high pressure there. Winds are in from the west with the DWD. Then we've got the CMCC. CMCC is looking like this is Mediterranean model. Again, all very samey, isn't it, from these models, from Copernicus.eu. High pressure, again, sitting over to west of the country, winds generally coming in from a west or northwesterly direction. The temperature anomalies is going to be sort of average, really, so it's a bit cool and average to our north, warm and average to our south. We are very close to average with temperature anomaly. The precipitation anomaly is wetter than average, maybe a bit surprisingly, wetter than average. Whoops, that's wrong, that's November 7th January, sorry about that. So we better go back, haven't we? Let's go back. That's it. That's September, October, November. Let's see whether this one was right. So that was right, and this one is right too. So yeah, September, October, November. Precipitation anomaly from CMCC looks like that, and yeah, it's near normal again. The precipitation anomaly was quite interesting. So as you've seen that, why don't I just go back and show what CMCC does as we get into winter. So this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for November, December, January. So at this point, it's starting to go for a mid-Atlantic ridge and northern blocking, which sends the jet stream into the north. The jet stream going like northwest, southeast. Or maybe sort of north to south almost, really. So that starts to bring colder air closer to us. Is the temperature anomaly. Notice this for November, December, January. Notice this expanding area of cold to the north of the UK. That's because the wind's going into the north. And of course, with this setup, we start to bring in precipitation to more southern and eastern areas. So that's what precipitation Precipitation Anomaly. That's why Precipitation Anomaly is doing that. Looking quite wet for England and Wales and dry up here. We've got high pressure up there. We've got some low pressure down there. I wasn't planning on showing you those, Charles. I wasn't planning on showing you those in this autumn season 1 roundup. But as you saw it, I thought, you know, why not show you it? But I wasn't planning on showing you any of that. Right, GavsTech then. So GavsTech temperature anomalies for autumn 2020 are warm and average for UK and for most of Northern Europe as well. All up here looking warm and average. So yeah, pretty warm European autumn coming up. Precipitation anomalies are drier now, so this was going for like a high pressure dominated autumn, sitting over country and bring winds up from like a south or southwesterly direction. Dry and warm autumn being indicated there by GavsTech. Beijing Climate Centre 500 millibar high anomaly for the autumn 2020 from our good friend Dylan Holbrook. Thank you, Dylan, for sending these to me. 500 millibar high anomaly shows above average heights, high pressure extending from the Atlantic over to northern parts of Europe. Lower pressure is up to the north. Jet stream is pushed northwards as well. It's another model going for an anticyclonic autumn. Slightly above average temperature. Slightly. Only slightly above average though. It's not a particularly big deviation. And of course, with a high pressure dominated autumn, we have drier than average conditions being forecast as well. You can see where all the low pressure is, can't you? All of the low pressure is up here with the above average rainfall. But for Ireland, for the UK, it's drier than average for this autumn. And then finally, we've got the UK Met Office GWV 5 looking like this. So this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for the autumn 2020 from GWV 5. Low pressure up to our north, high pressure is to our south. Winds in from the west. Looks like a very westerly autumn with that one. Temperature anomalies are slightly above average. Precipitation anomalies with such a westerly autumn. It's also a very wet autumn. Lots of low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. So precipitation anomaly is significantly above average. Really a mixed bag for this one. I don't think these season models are going to be a great deal of help, actually, when it comes to getting together the autumn forecast tomorrow. I mean, this will form part of the autumn forecast, but the models are so mixed here that there's, you know, I'm not sure it's going to be all that much help, really. I think what we can see is there is a little bit of a trend for a rather unsettled autumn, although we have got a minority option for high pressure to be dominating for this autumn. But I think generally it looks rather westerly. A lot of these models looking rather westerly, and some of them are looking northwest southeasterly, actually, with the jet stream, which is a cooler setup. So there is the possibility that this autumn might actually be rather cool. I think that possibility is churning away within quite a few of these models if we dig down deep enough and read between the lines. But obviously we haven't got a particularly strong signal for a cold autumn, but maybe something a little bit cooler, but at the same time quite Atlantic driven. But with a northwest southeast light to the jets. That could be like the main sort of thrust of these lines. But again, there are a lot of models that are doing something different. Base Climate Centre, for example, GavsTech, they're looking much more anticyclonic and a lot drier and warmer too. So yeah, it's a complicated forecast, this. It's a very, very complicated forecast for this autumn. I tell you that already. However, we will endeavour to release an autumn forecast for 2020 on the website and on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Will be the first video up tomorrow at 10 AM. The autumn 2020 forecast will be released then tomorrow at 10 AM. Right, so coming up later on today, we've got the 10 to 14 day video today and weekend forecast as well. Keep checking back for all of the updates. But for the third and final season 1 roundup for the autumn 2020, that's all for now. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you later with weekend forecast. Bye for now.